Howdy do, back again. I don't know how many of you noticed. I stayed off the computer, stayed off of Facebook for a little over a week once all this mess started with the police being shot in Dallas and the subsequent police murders, and everybody's getting all upset as they should. I'm not going to say nobody should be upset, but then the finger pointing starts. Who's to blame? Who's at fault? What should be done about it? And when you try to offer up a scenario or an idea or a suggestion that grates on people's nerves, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to think about it because it doesn't fit their worldview. Well, then people get all upset, and the usual name calling starts, and people get their feelings hurt. And frankly, I was getting angry and didn't want to say some things that maybe I would regret or would hurt some feelings. But the more I've watched this, the more I've read about it, the more I've heard what other people say. I don't know that there's long enough that I can wait to calm down and not say something that's going to piss somebody off, which by now you think I'd be used to anyway. Seems like every time I say something, I piss off somebody on the left or the right. So be it. I guess I'm going to just go ahead and put some stuff out there, and you guys can do what you want with it. First of all, let me just say that in this post, if you see something that you think is pointed directly at you and not just a broad-based generalization or category or an idea, then I would suggest you do it. This meme says, lace that bitch up and wear it. That's right. If you see yourself in what I'm about to say, then yes, you and I do disagree very strongly on what's going on in this country right now and how it needs to be fixed. Okay, so one of the problems, and I guess I'm going to have to address this, even though I have addressed it in the past. Apparently some people either didn't see it or they've forgotten about it. When I point out that cops need to be held accountable when they are wrong, the immediate, visceral, knee-jerk reaction that I always get from my friends on the right is, oh, you're a cop hater. See, you just want to blame all cops for the few bad ones that are out there, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it. You know the argument. I have never, at any time, in any of my posts, either videos or typewritten, said that all cops are bad. I've worked with too many cops. I know too many cops. I have friends on my Facebook page who are cops or are retired cops. I know that there are some good ones out there. I've worked with them. There was a time in this country when if a cop pulled up on somebody and two kids were on Lover's Lane and making out, the cop would tap on the window, hey, you kids get out of here. Don't let me catch you out of here again. I know those guys. I've been with them when they've done that. On the other hand, today, most cops, and you can argue with me if you want to, but the proof is out there. Most cops today are revenue agents for the government. So today, same scenario, you pull up on two kids making out on Lover's Lane, out of the car. All right, we're going to search the car. Is there anything in the car I should know about? We're going to call the drug sniffing dog. I'm going to search the car. We're going to confiscate the car. What's in the car? See, nowadays, there's got to be some way to get some money out of it, generate some money, some statistics that will garner more money later from the government. And these asinine laws that are being pushed, these misdemeanors that result in people getting shot, beat up, tased, locked up. And when I was growing up, if a cop caught you doing something that was a misdemeanor, they issued you a citation and sent you on your way. If you didn't show up for court, then a capias was issued for your arrest. And then they'd come and get you and lock you up. They offered you your day in court, and you chose not to take advantage of it. So you don't show up for court, then you got problems. But instead, nowadays, they get all butthurt when somebody argues with them, and everybody wants to get their back up, and then you got one guy on one side pissed off, and another guy on the other side pissed off, and everything goes crazy. We have a problem in this country right now with the way the police do their job. All right? I'm going to give you a minute to process that. They're no longer they're no longer peace officers. They're revenue agents. Now, you can argue with me if you want to, but the statistics just came out. FBI reports came out that last year, the police, through asset forfeiture, took more money from citizens in this country than crooks did. Think about it. The police, the people you're supposed to respect, the people who are supposed to be on your side, the people who are supposed to protect and serve, took more people's assets last year than crooks did. Don't know what asset forfeiture is? If you don't know by now, then you're an idiot. Look it up. Asset forfeiture. Now you're thinking right now, well, so what, Floyd? They probably did something wrong. They probably broke the law. No, that's the problem with asset forfeiture. You don't have to break the law. You don't even have to be convicted of breaking a law. And the police and the state can confiscate your property, your assets, and you can't get it back. If you do get it back at all, it's after a long struggle, and you have to hire a lawyer and go through all that rigmarole to get your property back when you didn't even commit a crime. Now, you can sit there and get pissed off if you want. You can argue with me about it if you want. The facts are out there. If you're not willing to look them up, or if you do look them up and you refuse to believe it, that's on you. I can't help you with that. But the fact is, it's out there. And that's why a lot of people have lost respect for the police. I have. If you're going to enforce that kind of bullshit law, I don't have any respect for you. Sorry. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to have any respect for anybody that does that. Now, I may be getting off on a tangent here. But the problem, again, is we have two factions in this country now. We have people who want to support the police and everything they do. And we have those who hate the police and think we should fight the police. I'm not going to jump in on either side of this and dig in my heels and say, I'm on this side or I'm on this side. I think both sides have bad actors and are wrong in many ways. Bad cops. The black community complains about bad cops and how they're killing black people and beating black people. And we've seen the videos. But you know what other videos we've seen? And FBI statistics, once again, back this up. Is the police doing the same shit to white people? More white people are killed by police every year than black people are. So if we're going to start forming factions, when's the White Lives Matter faction going to start protesting in the streets? Murder is wrong, folks. Murder is wrong. Whether it's police murdering unarmed civilians or whether it's civilians stalking and assassinating police officers, it's wrong. Now, I raised my kids to believe that two wrongs do not make a right. I would hope that you've raised your kids that way, or that you are currently raising your kids that way. Two wrongs do not make it right. But when it comes to police abusing their authority and abusing their power and breaking the law, they need to be held accountable. Look, I know what it means to arrest somebody. I've done it myself. I've worked with the Richmond police over the years. Some of my friends on my Facebook page are retired Richmond police officers. If they disagree with me, if they think I'm full of shit here, say so. Comment. Let me know what you think. But I'm telling you, I've worked with these guys, and I've seen them arrest people who have tried to fight with them. And I didn't see 5 or 6 of them gang up on them and beat them half to death with batons. The purpose of using force as a police officer when you are effecting an arrest is to protect yourself and to effect the arrest. You effect the arrest by rendering the suspect incapable of harming you and getting them handcuffed. Once you do that, it's over. The fight's over. Now, they may kick and struggle with you, but once you've got them handcuffed, there's no reason for you to keep wailing on them with a nightstick or to keep tasing them or to kick them in the head. These videos we see sometimes where you got 4 or 5 cops around a guy and every one of them's taking a shot at him with a nightstick and one of them every now and then won't step in and try to kick him or something. What you don't see is anyone trying to put handcuffs on that guy. That's when people get pissed off. That's when I get pissed off, because I know how you're supposed to effect an arrest. Yeah, this is for you people out there to say, hey, if you've never done it before, you don't know what they have to deal with. You should just shut up. Well, screw you. I do know what they have to deal with. I've been there. So, yes, I know exactly what it's like when somebody bucks you and you have to fight with them. I also know that once you've got them handcuffed and under control, the fight's over. You've done your part of the job. It is not the police officer's job to pass judgment, arrest them, and then execute them. That's not your job. Punishment is not part of the police officer's job. That's for the courts to decide. Okay? That's part of our judicial system. Now, either you want to use the due process of our judicial system, or you just want a bunch of vigilante cops going out here beating the hell out of somebody because they don't like the way they acted. When this guy in Baton Rouge was shot a couple of weeks ago, everybody's going, oh, look, he had a police record, 6-7 pages long, blah, blah, blah. Is it that justifies him being shot? Now, I wasn't there. I know what the video showed. I know that we haven't seen the whole video yet because the cops confiscated the video from the store's security cameras. So we don't know everything. I know you're going to point that out. But everybody was all of a sudden, well, he had a criminal record. As if that justifies killing the guy. So is that the way you want it done now? If the police radio went, Unit 214 to radio, go ahead, 214. I'm pulling over to so-and-so license number, give it a, all right, stand by. 214, go ahead. Yeah, records show that this guy has a criminal record about 5 pages long that includes assault, B&E, drug possession. Anything further? No, that's all. Thank you, radio. Boom! Hey, he had a record. What the hell? Let's just shoot everybody that's got a criminal record, huh? That's the way the judicial system's supposed to work, isn't it? Come on, guys. You got to cut this bullshit out. You can't say on the one hand, you know, if this guy breaks the law, he's got to go to jail. But if a cop breaks the law, well, a thin blue line mentality. We got to rally around them. We got to protect the police. Now, that to me is a bad cop. When you abuse your authority, when you overstep your authority, when you're using force that you don't need to use just because you want to punish somebody because they pissed you off, that's wrong. That's not what your job is. And if you're one of those cops who's standing around watching and you don't do anything about it, you're a bad cop too. Is that clear enough? I don't have any use for bad cops. We have to be able to trust the police. They have a job that can affect our lives. It can affect our livelihoods. It can affect our futures. So they have to be right. They have to be held to a higher standard. And police, if you can't deal with that, if you don't like being held to a higher standard, get another job. I don't know how much plainer I can make it. Now, Black Lives Matter. I got no use for you either, because I don't believe for 1 second you give a shit about black lives. I don't see you marching in Chicago. I don't see you marching in Baltimore. I don't see you marching in any major U.S. city where statistics consistently show that blacks kill more blacks than police or white people combined. So if black lives really matter to you, why aren't you doing something about that? Why aren't you getting your own house in order before you go demanding somebody else get theirs in order? I'd have a lot more respect for you if I saw you doing that. Yes, you have a right to protest. Yes, you have a right to make your voice heard, to seek a redress of grievances. What you do not have a right to do is to violate other people's rights and infringe on their rights and their freedoms. You do not have a right to vandalize other people's property. You do not have a right to harm other people. You do not have a right to stalk and assassinate, like a goddamn coward, police officers doing their jobs. Now, if that police officer is unjustly attacking you, then yeah, you defend yourself. I mean, there are a couple of states now that have passed laws that said if the police are entering your house unlawfully, they've got the wrong address on a drug raid or something, and you shoot one of them, you have a right to defend your home and your life when the cops are wrong. But you damn well better make sure that you're doing right. And stalking police officers and murdering them is not right, and it is not helping your cause. If you think it is, you're a damn fool. All you're doing is giving more more ammunition to the side that wants to do you more harm. How do you not see that? And you're setting the country up for martial law, which is exactly what some people in this country want to see. That's a whole nother discussion in itself. There are bad actors on both sides, people. And unless you're willing to hold the bad actors accountable, nothing's going to change. If you're one of these people who thinks we've got to support that thin blue line or rally around the cops and no, they shouldn't be held accountable because they're police officers, they're just doing their job and they fear for their lives. Well, I fear for my life sometimes too. A lot of people fear for their lives. Is my life any less important because I'm not wearing a badge? You same people say that we should hold politicians accountable. These guys have broken their oath of office. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution. They have passed laws that are unconstitutional. They've passed laws that are wrong. They're bad laws. They're evil. We should kick these guys out of office. Not only should we kick them out, some of these people should be hanged for treason. They should be put in jail for violating their oath to the Constitution. Unless they're a police officer wearing a badge. Oh no, those guys get a pass because they're heroes in blue. Well, I'm sorry. If this pisses you off, then just deal with it. The fact is, if the politicians who pass the laws are wrong, then how the hell do you give a pass to the guys who enforce those wrong laws? Come on, guys, you can't have it both ways. You got to make a decision here. Wrong is wrong. I don't care what kind of clothes you're wearing or what kind of badge you have on your chest. If you're wrong, you're wrong. There are good people on both sides of this issue. I have no doubt that there are people in Black Lives Matter who join that organization because they really believe that there's a problem with police in the black community. They haven't looked at the statistics like I have and like some of you have, and they don't see that in fact more white people are killed by police, that it's not a problem of police versus black people, it's a problem of the police state versus us. And so they legitimately and earnestly believe that they're doing the right thing. They're not out there trying to kill police officers. There are always agents provocateur in any gathering who are going to stir up trouble in the name of some organization because they think it makes them more legitimate, when in fact they're fringe, they're loonies, they're nuts. There are lots of good cops out there. I've worked with some of them. I know personally a lot of good police officers that I trust, that I believe know what that oath that they took means, and they need to uphold that oath. If they were the kind of cops that I'm seeing regularly now in videos on YouTube or on TV, I wouldn't have been friends with them in the first place. I'm not going to hang around with people like that. But if I see a cop breaking the law, abusing his authority, especially if he is violently attacking someone who doesn't deserve it and has done nothing to necessitate that, I'm damn sure going to try to do something about it. I don't know why you would expect anything else. I don't know why you would not do something about it. But I don't hear that from you. What I hear is rally around the thin blue line, support our police. Well, I'm all for supporting the police. I'm also for supporting Black Lives Matter and their right to protest and their right to seek a redress of grievances peacefully legally and within the law. But I do not support bad cops, and I do not support the cops who stand around and watch these guys and don't do anything about it. And I do not support you, friend, family, or otherwise, when you say stupid shit like, well, we give the police a pass, they have a hard job. They need to be held accountable. If more police were being held accountable for their violations of the law, maybe there wouldn't even be a Black Lives Matter right now. Do you think? But when you see repeated and repeated and repeated offenses by police and nothing is done, and then you see this bullshit stuff in Baltimore where the lady files charges, and who the hell knows what happened with that. But what people see is both extremes of both sides. Nobody sees the folks in the middle who are just trying to do their jobs and just trying to get things right. You've got to hold the bad ones accountable. They have to be held to a higher standard. You and I are expected to obey the law, and hell, we don't even know what all the laws are. We've been through that before. Thousands of new laws every year. Here in Virginia on July 1st, just a few weeks ago, we had hundreds, it was in the newspaper, of new laws enacted for which you or I could be arrested should we violate one of those laws. I bet you don't even know what one of those new laws is, do you? I sure don't know what they all are. I bet you the police don't even know what they all are. Guys, I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get through to some of you. The inconsistency. I'm going to keep saying it until you can get sick of it, and you can turn me off, and you can unfriend me on Facebook, whatever you want to do. Fine. But wrong is wrong. If you're a cop wearing a badge and you're just doing your job and you're breaking the law and you're abusing your authority, you are wrong. And you should be prosecuted just like anybody else would. Because your job has a very direct effect on the lives of the civilians you're dealing with. And if you're wrong, and I go to jail or I get injured, or I have to spend thousands of dollars to hire a lawyer because you were just in a bad mood that day, or you got scared unnecessarily. By the way, if you get scared that as easily as some of the people out there I see, maybe you should be doing something different for a living. Have you thought about that? Black Lives Matter. Do your protests. You have a right. This is America. The First Amendment still exists, I think, last I checked. But understand that you do not have a right to infringe on other people. You don't have a right to block the streets. You don't have a right to shoot police officers sitting in their car doing a report. You can't justify your actions when you're behaving as badly or worse than the people you're complaining about. And if you really do care about Black lives, if that's really the purpose of your organization, I'm still waiting for you to get to Chicago. I mean, look at the news on any Monday morning after a weekend in Chicago and look at how many Black people are shot and killed by other Black people. I haven't seen Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or anybody from BLM in Chicago complaining about that. So if you want to be taken seriously, if you want people to believe that that's really what your organization is about, you might want to look at that. I hope I've made myself clear. But just to wrap up, no, I do not hate all cops. Do you understand that? Are you with me? I know some. I know some really good ones. Some that I'm proud to know. But I can't stand a bad cop. I can't stand it because what they do is so wrong. Because we have to be able to trust them. By the very nature of their job, if I can't trust the police, then who the hell can I trust? And if you're wanting to hold the lawmakers accountable when they screw up, why aren't you wanting to hold the law enforcers just as accountable? All right. I could go on for a lot longer about this, but I hope by now I've made my point. Anyway, you disagree, you agree, you have something to say, a question to ask, there's a comment section. Use it. I'll talk to you later.